The Atlanta Hawks have been cooking this offseason. They have seen their chance in a weakened Eastern Conference to go out and make a run and potentially do something special. They've got the weapons around Trae Young to help hide him defensively and maximize him on offense. This offseason has been pure genius for the Hawks. This really was pretty smart, though. I mean, you're talking about adding in guys like Kristaps Porzingis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Luke Kennard, as well as Asa Newell, to a team that was fringe playing last year. They were right there on the doorstep of making the playoffs. But then when you take a look around the Eastern Conference, 3 of the top 5 seeds from last season are missing one of their top 2 players, with Tyrese Halliburton being out for the season. Dame Lillard, of course, leaving the Bucks. That was the 4 and 5 seed matchup right there in the Eastern Conference, was those 2 guys missing the entire season this year. So both of those teams are worse, kind of considered to be out of NBA championship contention. And then, of course, Jason Tatum going down for the Boston Celtics. That's 3 of the top 5 teams in the East. It only leaves the Cavs and the Knicks as teams that are going to be fully healthy going into next season. So the Hawks, as well as teams like the Magic and Pistons, could be the biggest risers through the rankings in this year's weakened Eastern Conference. The Hawks, of course, are led by their superstar, their NBA superstar, kind of fringe superstar, I guess you could say, in Trae Young, but I think he is up there, right? He averaged 24.2 points a game, 11.6 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1.2 steals. If the Hawks were making the playoffs and if he could shoot efficiently, he'd definitely be a top 15 to 20 player in the league. The inefficiency, though, has kind of been what's killed him as of late. But I think that if he plays more into that facilitator role, because there's a ton of new weapons around him, he's only 6'1" with a 6'3" wingspan, so he can only do so much when it comes to scoring the ball, and defensively he's not great, but comes to closing lineups, they can throw in some adjustments and are surrounding Trae Young. They've done a phenomenal job with Dyson Daniels, Zachary Reza-Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis. Daniels at 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, Reza-Shea at 6'9" with a 6'10" wingspan, Jalen Johnson at 6'9" with a 6'11" wingspan, and then Tingus Pingus down low standing at 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. And for a smaller guard like Trae, that is absolutely key to be able to surround him so that he can't be picked on as easily defensively, as well as the fact that there are a ton of other offensive weapons as well. And then, as we spoke on earlier, the closing lineup will probably be this right here with Nickeil Alexander-Walker taking Trae out, especially if you need to stop on defense. Now, offensively, of course, Trae will be in there because he is the engine for this squad. But you could make an argument that Jalen Johnson is going to be just as good offensively next season, scoring about the same amount of points, obviously nowhere near the same amount of assists, but assist-to-turnover ratio could be in the same neighborhood. Jalen Johnson last year is coming off a season averaging 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.6 steals, and 1 blocks while shooting 50% from the field. And if he can just get that 3-point percentage up, he could be a true 3-level weapon. And for a guy that has the height and length as he does at 6'9" with a 6'11" wingspan, that could be deadly at the NBA level. The vision as well. I mean, 5 assists per game is really solid. Watch the backdoor cut right here by Dyson Daniels. Is a beautiful cut, but an even better find. I mean, he's throwing that ball now. Great anticipation, passing out of the low block. That is huge. And then right here, just getting downhill. He's a phenomenal slasher with either hand, using the right on the left side right there. But Dyson Daniels and Trae Young should be enough to help hold down this backcourt. They've got a fantastic 24 or younger core if they did want to move on from Trae, but I think keeping Trae around will be nice. The great barrier thief on defense will be enough to hold opponents' guards at bay, because he is one of, if not the best perimeter defender in the league, the best point of attack defender in the association. The length and athleticism are not very common for a 6'8" guy, and he's still super duper young as well. I mean, just the length to get out here in transition, get the steal, 3 dribbles for the dunk. He's a monster defensively, watching him blow up that screen. 14 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 3 steals a night. 49% shooting from the field, 34% from 3. They just got to develop the jump shots for these guys. Daniels is just 22 years old still. I remember he was a top 10 pick a couple of years ago, so still a lot of growth and development left for him. And then, of course, Reza-Shea, the top draft choice from a season ago, still has a ton of potential as well. I mean, you're talking about a great young trio here in Atlanta, surrounded by veterans in a weak East. This is the perfect scenario. Reza Shea coming off a year averaging 12.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, shot 46% from the field and 36% from three on 4.5 attempts a night, running the court in transition here. Nice little euro to the left hand. He showed he can go off like he did against Brooklyn when he dropped 38 points, knocking down corner threes. 6'9" with a 6'10" wingspan, can defend a little bit as well. Not the worst point of attack defender in the world. He's a great off-ball defender as well due to his length. You know, he's going to be 6'9", playing the 3 for him next year versus Brooklyn last year. Of course, the game you're watching, he went off and did it to the tune of 15 of 20 shooting from the field. Did not miss a 2-pointer this game and only missed 5 threes, taking 11. That's fantastic efficiency. And then right here in the dunker spot, going up and getting a dunk, really understands the feel of the game. Now let's take a look at the additions as well. Kristaps Porzingis, we referenced him earlier, is going to be a great add to this squad because of what he can do, extending the offense out, right, with the pick and pop. He can extend the floor, or, you know, he can take you inside. He averaged 19.5 points a game last year with 7 rebounds, a block and a half in 29 minutes a game, shot 48% from the field and 41% from 3 on 6 attempts. A big time stretch 5, but he can also play the 4 and can also stretch the floor vertically as well as north and south. Of course, the 2023 NBA champ is a good rim protector still with that 7'2" frame and his 7'6" wingspan that goes along with it. He's the great addition if he can stay healthy, and he's on an expiring contract if they want to move on after this season. Then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he got the big money this offseason from Atlanta. They inked him to a 4-year, $62.5 million contract, and he really made that money last year in the Western Conference Finals. Averaged 9.4 points a game, 3.2 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and 0.7 steals in 25 minutes. Shot 44% from the field and 38% from 3. And you might be thinking that's not really deserving of a contract that big, but with the salary cap going up and with his performance last year in the Western Conference Finals, where he averaged 12.2 points, 2.6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists on 41% shooting from beyond the arc, the 6'5" wing was a great add to this squad. 6'9" wingspan as well. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to be, I think, a really, really good bench piece for this Hawks team. And then you got Luke Kennard, who is also going to be a really, really nice bench piece. Now, he doesn't have the defense that everybody else on this roster has that we've talked about other than Trae Young. But he is one of the best catch-and-shoot guys in the league. 10 points a game, 3.3 assists, 2.8 rebounds, and 22 minutes a game last year. That's really good efficiency with his minutes per game. 48% shooting from the field, 43% from 3. Like I said, he's one of the premier floor spacers in the entire NBA, especially when you work out of the pick and roll so much, like Jalen Johnson and Trey Young love to do. Having him opposite of that with all of these guys that can drive and kick, it's going to be a wonderful addition. I mean, even Luke Kennard driving and kicking a little bit. He'll get into his bag from time to time. Asa Newell, another guy they brought in through the draft, the 6'10" center from Georgia with a 7-foot wingspan. And man, on top of getting good value at 23, they also absolutely robbed the New Orleans Pelicans, where they got an unprotected pick next year from either the Pelicans or Bucks, whichever one is worse, and then they just gave up their pick this year and also got 23 back. So they moved back 10 spots for an unprotected first next year. Asa Newell averaged 15.5 points and 7 rebounds last year at Georgia. Did that on 54% shooting from the field and 29% from beyond the arc on 1 attempt. It was a good selection based off value, and I think that's going to be a wonderful fit. But yeah, the Hawks have been cooking all off season long. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.